Life is far too short to chase shadows, to beg for the attention of those who are only half looking in our direction. The great paradox of human relationships is that we often desire most what eludes us, mistaking the chase for love and the longing for meaning. But love, real love, is not a game of pursuit. It is a recognition, a meeting of two beings who see each other fully and say, "Yes, I choose you." And so the question is not, how do I make him love me? The real question is, why would I ever settle for someone who does not choose me completely? Imagine for a moment a river flowing effortlessly to the sea. It does not plead with the ocean to accept it. It simply moves, and the ocean, in its vastness, welcomes it naturally. This is how love should be, an effortless merging, not a struggle to prove one's worth. A man who truly chooses you does not leave you wondering. He does not make you question whether his affections are real or conditional. He does not place his love just out of reach like a carrot dangling before a horse. Instead, his love is clear, unwavering, and present. But to find such a man, you must first become a person who chooses themselves. For the world reflects back to us what we believe we deserve. If you seek love from a place of desperation, you will attract those who feed on your insecurity. But if you stand in your own light, if you recognize your own worth, then only those who truly see you, who truly choose you, will come near. And so, let go of the illusion that love is something to be earned or chased. Be still, be whole, and let the right love, the real love, find its way to you, not as a reward, but as a natural unfolding of who you are. After all, the one who is meant for you will never have to be pursued. He will simply be there, choosing you as effortlessly as the river finds the sea. Love in its truest form is not a struggle. It is not something that needs to be forced, negotiated, or constantly questioned. It is an effortless recognition and meeting of two beings who resonate with one another in a way that feels natural and unshaken. Yet so many people find themselves chasing, convincing, or waiting for someone to reciprocate feelings that should flow freely. This is not love. This is attachment disguised as affection, longing mistaken for connection. Love is not meant to be pursued like a prize at the end of an exhausting race. It is meant to unfold, effortlessly and mutually, between two souls who see and choose each other completely. One of the greatest illusions in relationships is the idea that love must be earned. Many grow up believing that they need to prove their worth, whether through effort, persistence, or even self-sacrifice. They learn to work for affection, to tolerate neglect in the hope that one day the other person will finally see them, finally recognize their value. But love does not work this way. Love is not a transaction where one gives and gives in order to receive a fraction in return. It is not a test of endurance where the one who suffers the longest wins. Love either exists in its fullness or not at all. A person who truly loves you does not leave you in doubt. They do not make you question whether you are wanted, valued, or enough. Their actions, their presence, their energy all reflect a certainty that does not waver. There is no need for games, no need for calculated delays in response, no need for the exhausting task of deciphering mixed signals. When someone genuinely cares for you, you will feel it, not in fleeting moments of attention or temporary bursts of affection, but in their consistent, unwavering choice to be with you. Effortless love does not mean the absence of challenges. Every relationship encounters difficulties, moments of tension, and differences to be navigated. But even within these struggles, there remains an underlying ease, the understanding that both people are willing to work through the storms together. There is no one-sided sacrifice, no feeling that one person is holding the entire relationship on their shoulders while the other remains indifferent. Instead, there is a mutual desire to understand, to grow, to support. Love, when real, does not feel like an uphill battle. It feels like a safe place, a space where you can exist as you are without fear of abandonment or rejection. Many people confuse passion with love, thinking that the more they suffer, the deeper the connection must be. They believe that intense longing, uncertainty, or the need to constantly prove themselves is part of the romantic experience. But love is not supposed to leave you anxious, wondering if you are enough. It does not keep you in a state of waiting, hoping that one day the other person will fully choose you. Love, in its essence, is a mutual recognition, one that does not require you to shrink, beg, or suffer in order to be worthy of it. When love is effortless, it does not mean that no effort is put into the relationship. It means that the effort is freely given, not extracted through guilt or fear. It means that both people willingly invest in each other, not because they feel obligated, but because they truly want to. There is a profound difference between effort that feels natural and effort that feels like survival. The former is a joy, an expression of care that comes easily. The latter is a burden, a constant struggle to maintain something that was never meant to be. A relationship built on mutual and effortless love does not leave you exhausted. Instead, it nurtures you, energizes you, and gives you peace. It is not a roller coaster of highs and lows, of moments where you feel loved, followed by long stretches of doubt. Instead, it is steady, reassuring, and grounded in a deep sense of knowing that you are chosen, not just once, but every day. The greatest act of love you can give yourself is to refuse anything less than this kind of love, to stop chasing, to stop settling, and to trust that real love does not require you to constantly fight for it. It comes as naturally as breathing, as the river flows to the sea, as the sun rises without needing to be asked. When love is mutual, it does not need to be questioned. It simply is. The way we see ourselves shapes the way the world responds to us. And nowhere is this more evident than in the realm of relationships. When a person carries themselves with confidence, with an inner knowing of their worth, they attract people who recognize and respect that value. But when someone doubts their worth, when they seek love from a place of lack, they often find themselves entangled with those who mirror that insecurity back to them. The relationships we enter are a direct reflection of how we see ourselves, and until we understand this, we may continue to settle for less than we deserve. Many people spend their lives chasing love, believing that if they can just find the right person, they will finally feel complete. They mold themselves to fit expectations, suppress parts of their nature, and tolerate treatment that does not align with their true value, all in the hope of being chosen. But the irony is that love is not something to be won through effort or sacrifice. Love flows naturally to those who already recognize themselves as whole. When a person truly values themselves, they do not seek external validation to confirm their worth. They do not cling to relationships that diminish them, or accept behavior that makes them question their place in someone's life. Instead, they move through the world with a quiet certainty, knowing that they are worthy of love simply because they exist. A person's energy speaks louder than their words. The way someone carries themselves, the way they set boundaries, and the way they respond to mistreatment, all send signals about how they expect to be treated. When someone deeply believes they are deserving of respect, care, and devotion, they naturally repel those who cannot meet that standard. People who thrive on power games, manipulation, or half-hearted affection find no foothold in the life of someone who stands firm in their self-worth. On the other hand, when a person doubts themselves, they often attract those who take advantage of that uncertainty, reinforcing the very fears they hold inside. There is a profound shift that occurs when a person transitions from seeking love to embodying love. Instead of looking for someone to fill a void, they radiate a presence that draws the right people toward them. This is not about arrogance or superiority, but about a deep inner peace that comes from knowing one's own value. Such a person does not chase, does not beg, does not wait endlessly for someone to decide their worth. They simply exist in a state of self-assurance. And in doing so, they invite only those who can meet them at that level. The relationships we choose reflect what we believe we deserve. If someone continuously finds themselves in situations where they are undervalued, ignored, or treated as an option rather than a priority, the answer is not to try harder to gain another person's approval. The answer is to look inward and ask, why do I believe this is all I can have? Because the truth is, when someone knows their worth, they do not linger where they are not cherished. They do not make excuses for inconsistency. They do not tolerate disrespect, and they do not hold on to people who only love them in pieces. There is an undeniable magnetism in self-respect. When someone refuses to settle for anything less than what they know they deserve, they create space for something greater to enter. The universe, life, or whatever one chooses to call it, responds to the energy we put out. When a person moves with confidence and certainty, they attract partners who recognize and appreciate them for who they are, not for who they try to become in order to please someone else. Love in its highest form does not come from chasing or proving one's worth. It comes from aligning with oneself so deeply that only those who genuinely see and appreciate that authenticity are drawn in. This is why self-worth is the foundation of every fulfilling relationship. It sets the tone for how we are treated and what we accept. The moment we recognize that we are already enough, that we do not need to earn love through suffering or sacrifice, we become free. And in that freedom, the right partner, one who sees, values, and chooses us in the same way we have chosen ourselves, naturally appears. Love in its purest form flows effortlessly. It does not demand to be chased, nor does it require one to suffer for it to be real. Yet so many people hold on to relationships that feel more like battles than bonds, convincing themselves that love must be fought for, that persistence will eventually turn indifference into devotion. But love, when genuine, does not need to be forced. It does not live in uncertainty, nor does it thrive in a space where one person constantly doubts their place in another's heart. Letting go of forced love is not a loss, but a return to oneself. A recognition that real love cannot be manufactured through willpower or sacrifice. So often, people stay in relationships that drain them, hoping that with just a little more patience, a little more understanding, things will change. They tell themselves that if they love harder, if they become more accommodating, if they prove their worth, then perhaps the other person will finally love them the way they desire. But love that has to be convinced is not love at all. It is a transaction where one person gives endlessly, while the other only takes, offering just enough to keep hope alive, but never enough to provide real security. Love is not a reward for suffering. It is a connection that should be felt without force. A relationship built on one-sided effort will always feel like an uphill climb. There will always be an underlying tension, a fear of saying the wrong thing, of asking for too much, of being too much. The person holding on to forced love will find themselves waiting for a call that never comes, waiting for affection that is only given in fleeting moments, waiting for the other person to finally wake up and realize their worth. But love should not be a game of waiting. It should not leave one feeling like they are walking on eggshells, constantly adjusting themselves to fit into someone else's world, while their own needs go unmet. There is a profound difference between love that requires effort and love that feels like a constant struggle. Every relationship will have challenges. But when two people genuinely choose each other, the effort is mutual. There is no need for one person to beg for time, attention, or commitment. There is no need to over-explain feelings or justify why they deserve to be loved fully. Real love does not keep anyone in a state of questioning. It does not leave room for doubt, for inconsistency, for a love that is given in pieces rather than in whole. Letting go of forced love is not about giving up on love itself. It is about recognizing when something is not meant for you when a connection is built on longing rather than true compatibility. It is about trusting that love should not be something that has to be dragged into existence, that it should come willingly, joyfully, and without resistance. It means walking away not because love is no longer desired, but because one understands that real love does not require endless suffering to prove its existence. There is a great fear in letting go of something that once felt like love, even when deep down it is clear that it no longer serves the heart. The mind clings to memories, to moments of closeness, to the potential of what could be if only circumstances were different. But love is not built on potential. It is built on presence, on the way someone shows up, on the way they make space for you in their life, on the consistency of their actions rather than the promises of tomorrow. Holding on to forced love is like gripping tightly to a rope that is slipping away. The harder one tries to hold on, the more pain it causes. The beauty of letting go is that it creates space for something new, something real, something that does not need to be fought for to exist. It allows love to come naturally, without resistance, without fear, without the weight of needing to prove one's worth. The moment one releases the need to force love is the moment they become free to receive the kind of love that chooses them without hesitation. And that is the only love truly worth having.